Hi, I'm Tom Pennington, Executive Director of Triangle Fraternity, back with another Tom Talks brief update. For those of you who've been calling, asking about our Florida Atlantic and Houston chapters, both of those chapters obviously affected by the hurricanes that came through last month. We've talked with the chapter president. All members are safe and accounted for. People are back on campus at this point and trying to get back into the swing of things, although we know it's going to take quite a while for those communities to be fully up to speed. The Houston chapter does have a chapter townhome that's furnished by the university. There was some flooding damage on the first floor only. That damage is being repaired by the university, and they should have everything fixed and working properly by the end of October. So we wish both those chapters well as they try to get back to campus and focus again on academics and chapter management. We're also getting in some new recruitment numbers. Really excited to see that some of our chapters are doing incredibly well. A sure sign of continued growth and success is a strong new member class, and we'd like to give a shout out to the chapters who have a new member class that's equal to or greater than 40% of their overall chapter size. So you can see some numbers here, all the way down from the 40s to way up into the 95, 111%, and Nebraska pledged 10 men with a 2-man chapter, so 500% return on that investment of time and effort. So really excited to see some of those numbers. We hope the other chapters out there are doing just as successfully. Please report your numbers as soon as you get them. One of the things I hope helped was a new website that I think does a much better job of talking about who Triangle is, why we're different, and why that's great for students who are in the STEM degree plans. In fact, a specific piece of the site is a recruitment site focused entirely on answering those questions that are so difficult to answer during rush weekends, giving them answers to the excuses that are most often time, money, grades, parents. And we hope that chapters are taking advantage of that. You can reach the website as always at triangle.org, and we now have the specific recruitment site is jointriangle.org, so you can start to send potential new members and recruit prospects to that site to have their questions answered. Triangle's hiring. If you don't have something set up for your graduation, or you're looking for some time to find yourself a little bit before grad school or taking on that job, we may have some opportunities for you. We're immediately taking applications for 2 positions. One is our Director of Chapter Growth to work with our campus recruiting programs and also prepare our expansion campuses and work with new chapter startups. That's going to be a really important position. We hope that'll be a year or more of employment, and we're ready to hire as early as January, so accepting applications now. If recruitment was something you really enjoyed in your undergraduate experience, you're good at it, you're comfortable with it, we'd love to talk with you. We think you could make a big impact on the future success of Triangle. The other opportunity we have is a FIRST internship. As many of you know, we've done a new partnership with FIRST, which is Lego League and Robotics and Tech Challenge. This is a program that involves over 400,000 K-12 students around the world, and we're going to be working to make sure that our chapters have the information they need to connect with their area FIRST volunteers and teams and help them with events and activities, sponsorships, and do some mentoring and coaching as well. We also will have some positions for those of you who are interested in being qualified as competition judges. We've got a lot of open volunteer positions in FIRST that we can deal with. But in order to get there, we're going to hire an intern for Triangle that will work with all of our chapters to get them the information they need, connect them with FIRST people in their area, and see if we can't significantly increase our involvement and knowledge about FIRST. A lot of FIRST alumni in our chapters and in our alumni ranks, so this should be a very rewarding experience both for actives and alumni. Few updates real quick. Many of you have been following the story of Penn State and the changes in the Greek system since the death of a young pledge last year. Very, very sad and tragic incident, but It's caused a kind of a rethink of how the Greek system will work at Penn State, and I have no doubt that some of those concepts and practices will begin to wind their way through the Greek system as we move forward. I met with our chapter there a couple of weeks ago. They're doing well. They have a nice house. They have a great membership, good grades. They're well known on campus, and I think the thing I came away with is Triangle is probably going to benefit more in the end than many of the other campus fraternities. We're not a group that's built on huge social events, on hazing, on some of those very negative traits that bring systems down. And so as rules change and expectations rise, I think our chapter at Penn State will have a better time of it in adapting to a new expectation. It's not going to be as hard for them, frankly, to make the changes necessary for the new system as I think it will be perhaps for some of the other groups. And I would guess that there will be fewer fraternities at Penn State in a couple of years, but I think Triangle will be one of the ones that stays and does well. So we're rooting for them, and we'll be working to assist them as they adapt to a changing Greek system on their campus. Recruitment 2.0, I mentioned a little while ago the numbers that we're seeing from some of our chapters. Significant improvements for some, about the same for others, and many have not reported, some that do mainly a spring recruitment activity, so we're still waiting to hear for those. But what we're learning, I think, from those who are having some success is their ability to really find that STEM niche. We are a STEM fraternity, even though legally we are registered as a men's social fraternity. But our real niche is the STEM community, and I think to the extent that our chapters embrace that and promote that in the men that they meet, that's been successful. It sets us apart from purely social organizations or more traditional social organizations where I think a lot of negative publicity has come from the past. And so an organization that's focused almost entirely on STEM, that promotes STEM as a profession, that promotes students and their academic experience in those degree plans is something that seems to get a really good response from the men that are eligible for membership in our organizations. I think the other things we've learned is a connection with the college, and particularly College of Engineering, but also sciences and architecture where those exist, makes a huge difference. Where we have faculty that know us, that know our organization, that know our commitment to STEM education and the career, I think we have a support system in the faculty and the deans there. And so the chapters that are doing particularly well are chapters that are volunteering for orientation programs, for new student transfer programs, are working with the faculty and the deans in those schools to become known to them and to be of service, to be an asset to that community. That's where the men are that join our organizations. And so faculty and administrators that have a positive image of who we are reflects on the recruitment within those colleges. So pretty important. I think the other thing is we've had a lot of discussions with chapters who have struggled over time with very broad campus-wide activities such as activity fairs or tabling during recruitment week events. We don't always stand out, and frankly we're not always in front of the men that are even eligible for membership. And so we're rethinking on a number of campuses, where do we do our tabling? Do we do it in a giant auditorium with 300 other organizations and just hope that STEM students will show up at our table? Or do we do it in the engineering school or in the engineering honors dorm or in a portion of the dining halls that maybe cater to the engineering student population? In essence, where are our men? Let's find them and let's get in front of them. Student organizations, clubs, honoraries that exist for STEM students are perfect opportunities to walk in and make a quick 15 to 30 second pitch about Triangle and what we offer to STEM students. Lastly, I wanted to talk about LTW, Leadership Training Weekend, set for January 12 through 14. There are tracks in that program for various officers. And so I hope you're starting the planning right now to make sure that your president, your new member educator, your treasurer, recruitment and or leadership advantage coordinator, and an alumni advisor can attend. We'll be offering some sort of compensation or reimbursement for a lot of the costs of attending, and it's a fantastic way to meet national officers, meet guys from other chapters that are doing the jobs that you are doing in your chapter as an officer, share ideas, get information, get your questions answered, and I think go back and prepare for a great spring. So we really hope that you're planning on attending and starting to put that in your schedule of travel for very early in January. Lastly, we've got some assignments for you. The grade and charity dollars and hours reports that are normally turned in at the end of every semester, we're missing those for a lot of chapters. So if you go to your Triangle Connect /chapter spot login and check your checklist, all the items that we need still from your chapter should be there. So I hope you'll take a few minutes to check that out. For many of you, we need the grade reports from fall and spring of last year. Obviously, you're doing your membership rosters and your officer updates already on Triangle Connect. We didn't get a lot of information on charitable dollars and hours that were contributed and on your campus leadership positions. So I hope you'll go back and fill those in from last year so we can add those to your chapter records. That also counts toward the awards and recognitions that we give at Scobie in the coming summer. So really important that we have that information. Secondly, the national active fees have been billed. You probably have seen those invoices if you're a president or a treasurer, but you've got some time before the end of the month to work with Rhonda to try to get those final bills taken care of. If you've got some roster adjustments you need to make, some new members that are on board, some seniors that have become alumni that you need to get off the roster, get off your bill. We need to get those rosters taken care of first and foremost, and then we can talk about the billing and getting the correct bill to you. And then lastly, changes to the Constitution and bylaws were adopted at the convention. The ratification paperwork has gone out to every alumni and active chapter, and you've got until December 1st to review those in your chapter meetings or with your alumni group to vote on approving those and get that information back to certify the ratification by your chapter. Again, December 1st is that deadline, so we hope you'll take care of that quickly and get that back to us soon. That's it for this edition of Tom Talks. If you need to reach me for any questions, tom@triangle.org. I will also be very happy to set up a 30-minute to 60-minute, let's call them office hours. If you have issues at your chapter you'd like to talk about or just want to hear some ideas from other groups for problems or challenges that you're encountering, very, very happy to help. Here at the headquarters, we're here to help ensure your success. So if there are things that you need, ideas that you'd like to generate, or you just want to talk through some difficulties or problems that you're having, we're happy to take some time to do that. So write me at tom@triangle.org, and I'd be happy to set up a time to talk with you. Until next time, thanks for tuning in.